Two kinds of people in this world. First kind, they're walking along at night, just trying to get out of their house. They see a trail of blood leading off into the woods. They say, "Let's investigate." The second kind says, "Huh," keeps on walking. Taking a little walk. Stir crazy, had to get out of the house. We've got probably 7 or 8 inches on the ground right now. Most of this is melted off because it's up here on the blacktop and from under the trees. But tried to get my car out earlier, and it was parked on top of a hill, and it just kind of slid down on top of the snow and got stuck. I was able to. My wife steered and I pushed, and it got out, but definitely a lot of snow. This is the path that goes down to the Bothy. And unless somebody's been drinking red Kool-Aid, that's a trail of blood. Oh, and look whose house it goes to. You can see here where they backed the truck up. This is where the trail stops. I'm not one for going in the woods in the dark, but I want to find where the trail starts. So I'm following the trail of blood near the woods. Reach the creek. Bothy's that way, a couple 100 yards. I've only been out here at night once before. It was scary as hell. Scary as hell right now, too. But I want to see where this trail goes. And by the morning, it might be obscured. Obviously, they drug it on some sort of sled. It's a long way to drag something. I know you guys can't see anything, but I've made it to the right of way. The trail keeps going up the mountain, and I don't think I want to tackle Panic Attack Ridge tonight. So I'm going to turn back, but before I head out of the woods, I'm here. I might as well check on the Bothy. I was here, and that's my hiking stick. It's gonna be kind of cold. I didn't bring gloves. I didn't know it was coming out here, but I think I want it going back. You know, it's a lot easier being brave when you're going into the dark woods. When you're coming out with the dark woods at your back, whole different story. Someone moved my rope. Someone stole the skull. Decided to sit down and have a pipe. Think about what I'm going to do. The past several times that I've been here, after I took the bone chimes down, I've been looking at those bones, which were just draped over one of the sticks over there on their strings, and I thought, that's kind of disrespectful. Which is a weird thing to think. They're just bones I found in the woods. It's not like it's someone's body or something, but I felt it's kind of disrespectful. And so I was coming out today to I brought my paracord innards. I was going to retie the bone chimes. Now the bones are gone, and the skull is gone, and my little bobcat is gone. And there are footprints in the snow that are not mine. There's a lot that I don't talk about on my channel about this place and about the woods and about just kind of some thoughts I have on things. For example, I don't think I've ever told you guys that I have a rule that I never take anything out of these woods. If I find it in the woods, it stays in the woods. And I'm not going to take it home and put it on a shelf or anything. Because I wanted to with that skull. I wanted to take it home. But I didn't. I kept it here in the woods. Because it doesn't belong to me. And it belongs out here. One other thing that's interesting is that smoking Bothy Flake appropriately, and it's hard to keep lit. I made that Fatwood video, and I actually walked out of the woods with some of the scraps of Fatwood in my pocket. And I got home and I was like, oh shit, I need to take that back. And I brought it back with me today. And so my first feeling upon seeing that the skull is gone, because I check every time I come out here, I check for the bobcat and I check the skull, and you can check the skull as you approach. Make sure everything's okay. Nobody's really messed with anything. Because why would someone come here and take small things? Why wouldn't, if they didn't like me being out here, why wouldn't they just tear the place down? I don't get it. Try not to be too attached to stuff out here, because this is not my land, and I am always very cognizant of that. And if anyone ever said, hey, you know, we don't really like you being out here building stick forts on our property, I would happily, not happily, but I would readily leave, never come back. That's probably not true. I'd come back, but I wouldn't build anything else. But you know, that's been my attitude, is that I'm here. My presence here, being in this place, is a gift to me, and I don't want to take advantage of it. Yeah. So my first thought was, is this something I did wrong? That sounds kind of silly, right? Like, are the woods taking their things back? But the bobcat was my thing. I brought it out here. But is this a message from the woods? If so, you know, do I need to change my behavior? I know that sounds really silly. I know it does. I'm just telling you what my first thought was. And it's a thought that I entertain. Even now, I entertain that thought. You know, am I just receiving a message here of like, something's off. Don't take the fatwood out of the woods, or, you know, whatever. Whatever. I don't know by what mechanism this message would be sent. I don't know. I know animals come in here and mess with stuff all the time. But then there's this boot print that is obviously very small compared to mine, which, I mean, is like, you know, most of humanity, because I have a size 15 cave troll gigantor feet. It is a real curse. And that tells me that someone's been in here, like, you know, fucking with me. It explains the broken foot that I found from the little stone bobcat. And I bet if I really wanted to dig around, I would find other fragments of that bobcat, because I think what probably happened is that someone threw it against the center rock there that I use sort of as a work surface, and shattered it. Someone's come in here and shattered my glass bottles as well. I thought maybe it was raccoons. But obviously this is, you know, these are people messing with me. Is it too much to ask to be left alone in 2017? To have a place where one can be by oneself. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not doing any damage. I come out here and I meditate and I feed the birds. So I'm angry. I'll admit that I'm angry, even though I lost something that wasn't mine to begin with. But that was my skull. Took my skull. I want my skull back. And I don't know. So I'll tell you kind of the things that are in my head here. Farther up the mountain, there's a spot I've staked out because I knew there might come a time when I didn't quite feel comfortable here anymore. And so I have staked that spot out and marked it with a bone, actually. Haven't been up there in a while. It's kind of a trek. Even farther up the mountain, there's plenty of land. And I've been told recently, and this is another thing, I've been told recently that my property, the deed to my property that I own, comes with recreation lights to this land that I'm sitting on, where my ass is sitting in the cold snow. I have the right to be here and recreate. I have not looked this up. I need to look it up, obviously, now, but to make sure that I'm in the right. I mean, that was always kind of an open question about whose land was this to who had access to this land. And some people had told me one thing, and some people had told me another. Well, now people that know tell me I do. Need to make super sure. But do I want to fight this? Do I want to come out here and meditate or do my little bushcrafty videos knowing there's somebody out here that likes messing with me? Because, okay, yeah. Let's establish a profile here. You're walking around in the woods. You find a ring of dead sticks, and in the center of it hangs a skull. What kind of person is like, yeah, I better steal that skull and take it home? Didn't you ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Don't you know what happens to people that take bones home? So, yeah. What do I do? Do I abandon this place? Do I move further up the mountain? I won't be able to come as often. I mean, the birds love the bird feeder. Feel sad for the birds to move the bird feeder. Interesting. This is quite an enigma. And who else is out here? Thanks for watching. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind. Looks like somebody got into an argument here. Deer, maybe? Rabbit? I don't know. Guys. I don't know what to make of this. I pass this spot every time I come here. And here's a skull I've never seen before. I'm on my side of the creek, home side of the creek, so the rule about taking things from the woods doesn't apply. I guess I got a new skull. Raccoon, maybe? I don't know. I'm not going to take it home from the woods. I'm going to take it back to the bothy. Got about half an hour of daylight left. Should be enough. I can already hear the voice of some irate property owner like, boy, what are you doing out here in my woods after dark? Oh, just tying this skull to a tree. I was just saying to myself, like, Gribbs, come on. so much drama, you know? Somebody came and took your skull. Big deal. You're just playing around in the woods anyway, right? Like, it's all in my head, right? It's all in my head. Except, apparently my inner psyche just manifested up a skull. Yeah, I'd say a raccoon. Maybe a possum, although it would be an almighty big possum. Either way, it's not as imposing as the deer skull was, but it'll do for now. I know I'm just kind of leaving it out here to be stolen, but I should put the trail cam up because I'd really like to see the look on the person's face when they come back and there's another skull. That'd be kind of cool. All right, and I also found a little hip bone or a pelvis or something, and we'll just put that right there where the bobcat was, you know, just so it won't get lost.